Hello. Hey, Chabug, how you? Hello, Mac. Just getting started here tonight. Been working out in the vineyard all day. We were in Tennessee helping Medina's dad with his muscadines, and we're handling the fair. Uh, some of the stuff at the Lincoln County Fair um, this coming week, I believe, starting Saturday. I'm in mourning for Alabama losing to Texas, but we'll get over it. How is everybody tonight? I hope you're doing good. I hope we have more people here. Hopefully, we will. Um, we're going to discuss some cases that we had covered in the last few weeks and another missing person out of Memphis, Tennessee that has been in the news. Um, Hello, Beach Bum. How are you? Uh, I was just talking. I said I'm in mourning from Texas beating Alabama in football, but I'll get over it. Um, my daughter went to that game. She said she had a great time except when we lost. But anyway, let's go ahead and yeah. Oh, Dad's from Texas. Well, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of this, and hopefully we'll pick up some more people as we go. We're not sure if me and Tony are going to do our show tonight. I've already got a thing up. Hello, Gail. How are you? Because of it's homecoming week down there, and he's got his girls that are in school, and I understand. All of my kids grown. Um, I wanted to cover a case here out of Memphis. It's a 21-year-old girl. She actually went on what they call the booze cruise in Memphis. She turned 21, and she wanted to, at least that you would have think it'd been a pretty safe spot, a boat, a big river boat. She went with a couple other friends. Her friends said she laid her phone down on the table and said, "I got to go upstairs to the restroom." These boats are kind of, I've been on a river boat kind of like that. Not a booze cruise, but it's a bigger boat. And they used to have a restroom kind of in the center top floor of the boat. So she went up there and never came back. And they don't know what happened to her. Um, we'll show you. We'll show you some more of that here. Uh, Said here the 21-year-old got on a riverboat in Tennessee. It well, actually Memphis. It splits there. Memphis, Tennessee, and Memphis kind of goes into Alabama a little ways, but they consider it Memphis, Tennessee. But when the boat returned to the dock, she wasn't on it, according to Memphis. The friends, this is weird. This is a weird situation. The friends waited around for a little bit and they couldn't find her. They left. A city watch, uh, a city watch has been issued since September the 9th by the Memphis Police Department. And I'm going to play a little, before we continue with this here, I'm going to play a little video about this if I can find it.
Today, there has been a search here along the banks of the Mississippi River for any sign of Tamia Taylor. Her mother telling me she made the trip here to downtown Memphis to celebrate her 21st birthday on a riverboat cruise. But that entire time, that mother also telling me she always had a bad gut feeling. Where is Tamia Taylor? The question on law enforcement and loved ones' mind Monday morning as they search for clues as to where the mother of two could be.
We all out here because we love her. We care about her. We want her to return. Whether she come back alive or whether I have to bury her, I need closure because I am hurting. It was supposed to be a big 21st milestone birthday weekend for Tamia. That's all she had talked about all evening, all week, coming out, celebrating. No, I didn't want her to come. Why? It was a mother's intuition. And look what happened.
What was your gut feeling?
Not to come.
You just thought something bad might happen?
Correct.
But what happened remains the question. Memphis police issued a City Watch alert early Sunday morning. Tamia got on a boat with 3 other friends Saturday night, but when the boat docked, Tamia could not be located.
No one knows anything, and I don't understand how. The only thing they told me was she went upstairs on the 2nd floor to use the bathroom. She put her phone down on the table. We picked her phone up. We went and waited by the door for her to come out, and then we left. Why would you leave? That makes no sense.
Deborah believes people know more than they're letting on. She's making it a mission to get answers.
This is not nothing that we're going to let go as if though she was a nobody, because she's a somebody. And if no one cares, I care.
Shay Arthur, WREG, News Channel 3.
And we did reach out to Memphis Police for any updates in this case as we wait to hear back. If you think you know anything, you're asked to call Memphis Police.
Yeah, why do your friends, and one reason is too, if you were up there, even if there's all guys and her, why wouldn't they have a guy, why wouldn't you ask the females, I'm sure there's other females there, hey, can you go in there and check that bathroom and see if my friend's in there? Look, look on all the stalls, see if there's anything strange out of the ordinary that you see in there. I don't know. That it's just something weird about that. It's just something weird about it. They need to get the guys and polygraph them, find out if there was any type of argument or anything like that. She might have went up there, went to the bathroom, recognized somebody, fell off the boat. Who knows? They are gonna. I'm sure they are dragging the river. But you remember the last time we had a case where the girl jumped off the bridge. We didn't know what happened to her. Her body was found like 28 miles downriver. If she fell in the river somehow, they'll find them probably 28 miles, 29 miles downriver. I wanted to see more about this. There was some more narrative. Said they received a call. The missing person responded to the bank in downtown Memphis at early morning on September 10th. Her mother initially told police she didn't think her daughter made it onto the boat because a friend told her she didn't. And that's strange in itself right there. An update from police, however, said she was boarded the boat, police said. So apparently they did have tickets. When you board, they have tickets. When the riverboat docked, the friends could not locate Tama, I think it's Tammy, or Tama. Police said in the release, the riverboat company, Memphis Riverboats, Inc., released a statement regarding the case. And that basically is, we are confirmed in the video circling, and I looked for this video, but I could not find it. We can confirm from the video circling around that she was last seen on the boat as the boat was pulling into the harbor where we docked our boats. Last seen on the boat as the boat was pulling into the harbor where we dock our boats. The company said in the statement, well, if she was last seen on the boat as the boat was pulling into the harbor, she might have got off. We have no reason to believe that she had gone overboard, and we will be respecting the MPD as they conduct their investigation. We hope that she is found safe and returned home. A search is underway for the woman. Anyone with information is asked to contact Memphis Police. And another thing, too, about this case is apparently when they had a private company or whatever go out and search the boat with a dog and whatever, and I read somewhere they charged them to come aboard the boat. That's just weird in itself. Here's the girl again, and the statement from, and I'll see if I can pull it up a little bit larger there so you can read it, but that's a picture of her there. I mean, she's no real little woman that I can see. Okay, this is the alert And basically it says they responded to a missing person in 300 block of Riverside Drive. Officers spoke with the mother, who advised the victim, Tama Taylor, came to Memphis to meet with friends. I guess they put friend, and get on board the riverboat. When the riverboat docked, the friends could not locate her, and don't know any. And they said they basically don't have any. If you know anything about the incident, to call this way. And it's just a citywide alert or a city watch alert. I guess that's more like a missing persons alert, but because it's not, they're not expecting to be anywhere but out there, on the river. So it's just a weird situation. It really is. We can hope and pray that she is found, um, but you know, one thing I wanted to ask y'all too: are any of y'all members of Cyber Sleuth or Web Sleuth? Web Sleuths. Um, I went over there and just kind of, I actually joined the page, but I just wanted to look and see what they were about, because Netflix actually had a show about a missing person that basically they helped the police, and that's odd that the police allowed them to help. But if you just go over to their website and you can look through their stuff, look through their pretty much their forum, I think without being a member, and it's pretty interesting. Um, I forgot how many members they said. Okay, so we're going to go to else here that I think we talked about. Yes, this is another guy that's missing. This guy is an immigration lawyer that is missing, turned up missing, fairly young. Had been missing since July 30th, last seen leaving Seattle Airbnb. He is an immigration attorney from Baltimore, Maryland. Uh, Said to go off the grid is very much unlike him, and it makes no sense at all. Um, and the first thing I would say is maybe he got the wrong crowd out there. Seattle, an immigration attorney from the East Coast, took a road trip to West Coast, checked himself into a short-term Seattle Airbnb, and never returned. Surveillance video on July 30th captured 27-year-old Jared Shadid bringing his luggage, computer, and phone into an Airbnb before leaving moments later. Police said that he left all his belongings behind. Shadid's family and friends said the Baltimore, Maryland resident was living his dream and working in Washington, D.C. before he quit his job and set off to travel along the West Coast this summer. Now he is, they are retracting his steps, desperate to figure out what happened to him and willing to do whatever it takes to bring him home safely. The 27-year-old reported missing after he failed to check out of a Seattle Airbnb. The Black and Missing Foundation reported. The missing person report has been filed, which need the Seattle Police Department confirmed. If he was living his dream out there, you got to wonder if he maybe had some type of mental breakdown. It could very well be. I'm not sure what part of Seattle that is, but you know, if he just quit his job that he was his dream job and left to go up and down the West Coast, maybe sound like to me maybe he just had a mental breakdown. Uh, Maybe something he couldn't handle. If I went to law school for a year and a half, thought I wanted to do that, and left. I didn't complete. I'd pretty much taken all the hard courses and passed them, but I just decided it wasn't for me. And if you're doing certain, I would not want to be an immigration lawyer. That would be one of the for sure things. I mean, I wouldn't mind being a prosecutor, criminal lawyer, even, but not an immigration lawyer. To me, that would be, you know, I don't know why he chose that, but he did. In August, his SUV, a white 2022 Volkswagen, I don't know what that is, with DC plates was found in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Police Department posted on X or Twitter. Shreed's car was parked, had a parking ticket that indicated that it may have been sitting at the discovery point since August the 4th. However, there had been no sign of him in either city. For him to go off the grid at Cousinson makes no sense. Whereas his car was parked all the way down in LA. That's a pretty good hike from Seattle for him to take with no luggage, none of his personal effects. So you wonder if he didn't run into some trouble in Seattle up there, maybe got mugged or whatever, and then turned around and took his car and uh, ended up down in LA. Hello, Maddie. Glad to see you here tonight. Haven't seen you in a while. I understand what you said there. I wish you the best, Maddie. I really do. Maddie was actually my aunt's name on my mother's side. It's a very pretty name. Okay, let's see here. It says here that they described him as an explorer, saying that he loves to travel. Uh, his other friends supported the statement, and childhood friends said it wasn't surprised that he traveled to the Pacific Northwest. That doesn't just the mirror there, but the fact that his car was found in L.A. and all his bags were left at the condo, the Airbnb. That is, to me, is a problem. Said, but what was alarming is Shreed left his belongings behind. See, that's what I'm saying, including his phone. Leaving his phone, definitely not, Dalton said, but the laptop too, because he was into writing and working on a book. Okay. Dalton posted on social media group for missing people saying Shreed's apartment complex in Baltimore confirmed that he has not made a payment since July 3rd, meaning he did not pay his August rent. Shreed's family told Fox 13 that they have been trying to gather the community together in Seattle to help them find the 27-year-old. They have contacted local hospitals, mental health institutions, as well as to check possible whereabouts, the report said. Yeah, I would think that he may have just cracked under some type of pressure. Yeah, let's see. I think I covered most of that. Let's see. Yeah, we've already covered that. Said the attorney's Airbnb history revealed Shadid had traveled to Forks, Washington, Los Angeles before leaving his belongings in Seattle. The Black and Missing Foundation is also trying to spread the word about his disappearance. He has a dragon tattoo on his right calf, a Roman column on his inside of his arm, and a portrait of his mother on his shoulder. The foundation said he is African American, Lebanese, and has brown eyes, short black hair. He's 5'7" and weighs 150 pounds. In the Airbnb ring video, Shadid is wearing a light blue t-shirt, black shorts, glasses, carrying a black tote bag. Doughton also noted that he has both of his ears pierced. Anybody in information, contact the Seattle Police Department. You know, to me, it sounds like, hold on a minute, I'm trying to get that out of there. To me, it sounds like he just either went out, something bad happened to him. He got mugged. You know, first off, if I thought he drove down to LA from Seattle without his phone, without his computer, without any baggage, then I'd think he had a mental issue. But, you know, but the thing about quitting your dream job too, to go travel, this and that, why not just take 2 weeks off vacation, 3 weeks off if you're an attorney like that, and but not pay your rent. He didn't pay his rent. It wasn't like he moved all his furniture out of the place. Well, he may be in a ditch somewhere. You know, they may find him dead somewhere. There's a lot of people disappear, as we know, and their bodies won't be found years and years later. You know, it might have been carjacked. That's very true. That once you get into California, especially around LA, there's no telling what happened. You know, there's no telling. One of these, it says I got an issue there for a second. Let's see what these videos are real quick.
New at 5, have you seen this woman? 27-year-old Dominique Lomax. Her family says that she's been missing now since Sunday. And tonight, they're asking for your help to find her. Fox 13's Mandy Rock is joining us in our studio tonight. Mandy, you had a chance to talk with her brother.
Yeah, that's right. Deontay Russell, who lives in another state, said he was scrolling on Instagram yesterday when he came across a post that said his older sister Dominique Lomax was missing. He's now desperately trying to piece together what led up to her disappearance. Records say Lomax's mother called police yesterday after she was not able to get in touch with her daughter. She told police Lomax was missing from the Highland Meadows apartments on Airways Boulevard. The report says Lomax's boyfriend told officers he dropped her off at the complex just before 5 Sunday morning. He told police minutes later Lomax texted him that she was going to walk in, and that was the last time he said he heard from her. About 2 miles away on Lexi Lane, a man told police he was doing yard work when he found a black Galaxy cell phone near Holmes Road. The report says he answered the phone when Lomax's sister called and met up with her Monday so she could retrieve it. Lomax's brother, who no longer lives here in Memphis, said he was devastated when he found out that his sister was missing.
It was very
Well, I want to just stop that and say, before I was going to report on this girl missing, but before I could, this is the video I saw.
Remains are discovered after a fire was put out near the airport area early this morning. Hello, I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Firefighters called police after that discovery. WREG's Bria Jones joins us now live with these late-breaking details. Bria, what did you find out?
Well, Greg, police were able to confirm that the remains found are those of a woman. Now, this coming as a family searches for a missing mother last seen in that same area. A horrific discovery near the airport area. Human remains found burned in a grassy area on Sweeney Road near Holmes Road. The finding coming as family members searched high and low for missing mother Dominique Lomax.
If this crime scene is my sister, we deserve to know.
Denitra Lomax says her sister was last seen at the nearby Highland Meadows apartments, which is only 1.5 miles away from where the body was discovered.
She's been missing since 5, almost 4:30 Monday morning, and we just want her to come home.
Memphis police say around 4:30 Wednesday morning, officers responded to a fire along Sweeney. After the flames were put out, investigators say they located a woman's body. The victim hasn't been identified, but Lomax is wondering if it's her sister.
My mom want to know where her daughter is. We want to know where she is. Her son want to know.
Lomax says her sister was last seen with her boyfriend. According to police, the boyfriend told officers he dropped off Lomax at the complex to meet another man. He says she texted him she was walking in somewhere and never responded to his message asking where. However, Lomax's sister believes he knows her whereabouts and says someone tossed her phone.
Her phone was thrown out in Mill Branch and Holmes Road. I was just calling to check on her, and they was like, we just found this phone. My sister don't leave her phone.
While hoping the unidentified remains are not her sister, she wants people to be on the lookout for a woman with a red and pinkish bob wearing an all-white outfit.
We are devastated. We don't have any leads to where she would be.
Now, police say they are investigating the human remains found today as a homicide. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers at 528.
Okay, the boyfriend drops her off to see another man. Ding, ding, ding. Evidence, evidence. Yeah, you know what I mean? That don't sound kosher to me. I would bet money that he killed her and said he dropped her at 5 because the body was found like 4:30 or something like that to make it look like that it wasn't her or it, you know what I mean? I bet you money that he did it or has something to do with it. Yes, exactly, B-Thumb. I call bull. I mean, what kind of boyfriend? The boyfriend took her to see another man. That don't even sound right. You know what I mean? They got to be looking at him. I guarantee you, we'll keep up with this case, and we'll see that that something's up. Now I'm gonna tell you, there is some people on the internet, on some of the there's some people that are reporting that they think the disappearance of the lawyer that's black, the geologist, remember that the missing in the Arizona desert out there, and this guy, the guy that got the job with Netflix, remember we reported on him the other day, are all connected. But this is unfortunately an unhappy ending to the Netflix guy. Do you remember this guy right here that we talked about? He got his dream job with Netflix out there, and we reported that he took an Uber down to the bridge, went to the museum at the Golden Gate Bridge. I want to show this video here. I hope these are planned.
Now in the search for a missing man, a body found in San Francisco Bay near the Golden Gate Bridge has been identified as 22-year-old Johannes Cadana. He had just graduated from Cornell University in May and started a new job in the Bay Area as an engineer at Netflix. The Marin County Sheriff's Office says his body was found in the water last Tuesday. The coroner says he died by suicide. A reminder, if you or someone you know is in need of help, there is a national hotline where support is available 24 hours a day. That number on your screen is 988.
The coroner said he had blunt force trauma and he drowned, but that kind of, in one report I read, but that kind of got me because normally a blunt force trauma jumping off that bridge would kill you. The impact would kill you because it's like landing on concrete when you jump off a certain height. It's the impact that kills you, not drowning. There should not be any water in his lungs because unless he was semi-conscious when he hit the water and then he drowned or not dead from the fall. That bridge, I think, is like 200 feet tall or something. You jump off of that, you're going to kill yourself 9 times out of 10. I know there's been people that have jumped and they've lived, and we talked about this, they had put those nets underneath, but if I had a family, I would have else do an autopsy, because the problem is in that the problem is that there's so many bodies. The medical examiners out there in LA and San Francisco and all that stuff like that, there's a lot of bodies they had to examine, and somebody could have been in a little bit of a rush. All I'm saying is I think they should go back and take a look at this, because they did say, I read where it said blunt force trauma. And let me see if I think I've got actually what the sheriff's department put out. Yeah, it said they found him in the water, identified as 22-year-old, and the coroner's office said there's no foul play. But you know what? I don't believe. I mean, I wish I had copied that now. I don't think I did. But it said the coroner said he died of blunt force trauma and he drowned. But if he was jumped off the bridge, that means he was alive when he hit the water. Because you can't, if I've heard, somebody told me it was like jumping off and hitting concrete. If you hit concrete, you do not, you die from that height. You die, and you would be dead before. It wouldn't be, your lungs would not inhale a breath if you landed on concrete on your head or some other way and you died when you hit there. Then you don't inhale water from because you're not alive. Get it? That's why if somebody kills somebody and throws them in the river, they're not going to have water, because you got to inhale, because you got this thing in your throat here, which stops water from into your lungs. If I drink this coffee, the coffee goes down into my stomach. If that thing wasn't there, coffee would go in my lungs, and then I could drown by drinking my own coffee. So you got this thing here. So unless you breathe in and you're alive, you cannot get that down in there. So if you are dead when you hit the water, he would not have the muscle movement to allow him to do it. Yeah, that's right. Spinal cord damage, everything shuts down immediately. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that maybe it looks like to me maybe he got in a fight with somebody. They knock him in the head and then they throw him in the river, but not off the bridge. Anything could happen. I don't see these young guys. He just graduated college, get this great job with Netflix out there. He's probably going to be making about $300,000 a year, because that's, believe it or not, and I don't, I'm so behind the times, but that's about what these young people make. They make about $200,000, $300,000 a year working for like Google and Netflix and all that. So he's making great money wherever he is to live in out there. Both the lawyer, him, and to just disappear like that, you find him dead, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And we wanted to cover this last one here, and we'll talk a little bit. You remember the kid that disappeared in the desert? He was a hydrogeologist or something. He left his job site and his Jeep was found abandoned and wrecked. His father's been out there trying to find out what's going on. We do have a little an update. I don't know how much of an update, but I did copy it.
Marks 2 years since geologist Daniel Robinson went missing from a work site in Buckeye.
Investigators found his car crashed a month later, but there have been no signs of Robinson since. Buckeye police just released an updated report on this case, and his father is responding to new information that's now out in the public. True Crime Arizona's Brianna Whitney has been sifting through the documents here. Brianna, what have we learned so far?
Yeah, any new details could be crucial to the case, and now we know specifics about when Daniel's phone was at the crash site, which helps helps rule out some things. We also got a better idea of forensics on Daniel's electronics and where Buckeye police stand now in terms of following tips.
New revelations in the Daniel Robinson case as his family and investigators are going on 2 years of searching for the missing geologist who vanished in late June 2021. His car was found crashed with all his belongings inside, but Daniel was never seen again. The police report reveals when detectives extracted data from Daniel's Google searches in the week leading up to his disappearance. There were searches that stuck out, like "Love changed me," "delete Instagram account," "shooting Tempe," "explosion," and "I'm okay to do things I hate." But Daniel's dad, David, had just talked to his son on the phone and didn't hear anything alarming.
Outside of the history for searching, things like that, he definitely did not display that openly.
The new information in the report shows Daniel's phone at the crash site at 10:05 a.m. and it stopped tracking just after 10:30. That becomes very important with the other new details we learned a lot more about. A witness named Bill who claimed to have seen Daniel in the area after he disappeared. Bill noticed Daniel's new Jeep and said he was wearing a reflective work shirt and boots. He also noticed Daniel was missing part of his arm, which is consistent with Daniel's disability.
At first, his theory seemed to have been valid. And I even mentioned it in my family press conference that there was a second person that seen my son.
But Bill claimed to have seen Daniel around 11:30 a.m., then changed his story to different potential sighting times, none that matched the data of Daniel's phone at the crash site by 10 a.m. The police report also cast suspicion that Bill may not have been truthful about a law enforcement background.
Those was red flags for me. I went to the Buckeye Police Department with that.
After Buckeye Police interviewed Bill just 2 weeks ago, they issued this statement in their report. At this time, there is no evidence in Billy's electronic devices or phone records which helps to corroborate or disprove his story. The data in Daniel's phone does not align with his story, and it remains unclear what his motivation would be to lie about talking to Daniel the day he went missing. Daniel's dad says he has to remain hopeful.
I just have my faith to believe that somehow, some way, I'm going to find my son alive, and I'm going to bring him back home.
Now, because Daniel lived in Tempe, Tempe PD also assisted in the investigation recently and forensically processed Daniel's computers and iPad, but they did not find any information that could help find him. Buckeye PD says they're still analyzing the raw data and they're also still actively taking tips in this case. So much mystery. As for later this month, Daniel's dad, David, is holding a virtual candlelight vigil on June 23rd. That will mark the exact 2-year anniversary of him going missing.
So basically all of his devices were in that car. Nothing. He carried nothing with him if he left the car.
Right. Nothing with him. And that's what's interesting here. Was there foul play? Was there not foul play? And if there wasn't, you don't think he would have made it very far because it was so hot out there that time. His shoes, clothes, everything was at the car. So it's just nothing really adds up.
There are no theories, no possible theories.
I mean, people have their theories, either he might have been picked up or, was there foul play? Did somebody take him?
Like kidnapping.
Sure, things like that. I mean, people have come up with different theories, but the reality is we don't know.
As far as the evidence goes.
Right, right.
Wow, what a story. Brianna, thank you. In other...
Well, that's just a real... that is a real sad situation. I mean, the dad's out there, he's been looking for his son for 2 years. The guy making up this story like he did, that could be just one of these guys that claims he's a retired cop, or he claims was in law enforcement, and turns out he never was, and wants to be a part of the story. If they can rule him out as a suspect of doing anything, then, I would just, I don't know. I would rule him out as a suspect of doing anything to the kid. But, and if they can do that, he's probably just, trying to get his name in it. Like, it's like the JonBenét Ramsey case. I know that I have mentioned several times that I have my own theories of what happened, on that case. But do you remember when the guy was arrested in Thailand and he claimed he did it? I mean, he didn't have anything to do with it. The way they say, he wasn't even in the country when it happened. So why would anybody? Yeah, he wanted to be an attention getter. That's right, Mac. He wants to. He wants to have his name in the paper, or people to say, "Oh, well, he may be the one that's gonna help solve it or whatever." Um, it's just a very, very sad situation. That I don't know any other way to say it. But they may be. He may have wrecked. He may have walked from the scene with a concussion. Ugh, we're yawning. He may have walked. Excuse me. He may have walked from the scene where he had the wreck with a concussion, and he could get. He could have walked out 4 or 5 miles, 10 miles. As young as he is, if he was fit, he could have walked out and got heat exhaustion. A lot of things could have happened. He could have fell down a mine shaft. He could have, anything. It's just the desert's a big, big open place. Has anybody heard anything about the Barry Morphew case? When it's gonna happen? When the civil thing's gonna happen? Does anybody know? I know Maui said something about it. Somebody said that they had heard but I want to keep up with that because I want to, I want to keep up with that so I can find out, what's going on with that case. I tell you what, I would, man, I'd give anything if I could be the one that I'd like to add about 10 questions to the deposition when they do the deposition on Morphew. There's just about 10 questions I would love to ask. And he's going to have to answer them if he's suing somebody. You got to do a deposition. So, I don't know if Tony is going to be on tonight. That's what I was saying. I've got I got to get a phone call from him. His girls are involved in sports down at the Gulf Coast, and he is he took them to the pep rally. So I'm not 100% sure that he's going to be here. He's supposed to call me and let me know. If so, if not, then what I will probably go over and cancel our show one way or another. I don't have anything to talk about. Actually, I think we was gonna discuss some stuff in the Bible with the Bible. I'm not sure, but Tony and we were talking about something. But they caught that guy in Pennsylvania, the fugitive. I know y'all heard about that. A Malinois, Belgian Malinois puppy or dog, canine dog, actually was the one that took a bite out of crime and caught the guy. He was trying to scurry away on his belly, and they let that dog loose, and the dog got him. And I've seen what dogs like that will do when they catch the 14 days. I guarantee you that he'll remember that the rest of his life, that dog bite. I guarantee you. They got a fugitive that down here, they were on the Gulf Coast and everywhere just about, where if you are close to a work release center, from your prison work release center, you will have these prisoners that have done robberies, even murder, working in restaurants and working for people. They basically work. The state lets them work for about 50 cents an hour or something to help pay back what they owe. But they'll be working in restaurants everywhere. And one of them was out on bail, work release. He'd got convicted of armed robbery, and he was working at a house or working somewhere up on County Road 8 up in Gulf Shores area. And he walked away from the job. Well, actually ran away, and he stripped off all his clothes except for a t-shirt and his underwear. And he was out on foot today, and they've been chasing him up there in Baldwin County. But he's not a super dangerous guy like this guy was. But and I can tell you stories about these guys that are on work release. They have a work release van being driven by another prisoner, come down at night, pick these guys up, and they'll have marijuana and everything on that bus because we've stopped them, searched them, and found drugs on the bus and everything. But I know a girl that worked in a restaurant with one of these prisoners. They end up having sex in the backseat of a car, and he got her pregnant while he was in jail and out on work release. Isn't that something? I think that's crazy. I think they ought to, if they're going to if they're going to put somebody on work release, I don't think it ought to be. I think it ought to be. If you're going to put somebody in a restaurant, you ought to have somebody there that's watching out for them or a little bit supervised. But they just drop them off at these restaurants, and a prisoner drops them off in a van. He goes, picks them up at night. It's crazy. One of these days, they're going to end up getting out here and hurting somebody, and that's when it's going to make a difference, But they had a guy up in Gunnersville, up in North Alabama, that was on probation, or he got out on parole. A career criminal got out on parole and ended up killing a bunch of couple of people. And man, they just the biggest stink you ever seen trying to say why didn't he, wasn't he held in jail longer, and how come he was on parole? Which I don't know. Can we find the brain cells that are missing from somebody? These YouTubers who are defending BK. Who is BK? Who's BK? Who is BK? Who are you talking about, BK? BK. I don't know who you're talking about, BK. Somebody help me out here. Who's BK? Maddie, if you don't have internet, you need to get Starlink out there in the boonies. You can still have pretty good internet. Or Brian Kroshberger. I'm not familiar with that. Oh yeah, the guy that killed the college students up there. Well, they haven't heard the evidence. When the evidence comes out, that's when I think they'll understand. They'll understand more about that. Yeah, he reminded me of Ted Bundy because he stalked these people. Maddie, you don't want Starlink? I would get something though that would let you have some way of contacting the police if you need to. Yeah, he reminded me of Ted Bundy. He reminded me of the guy that, Ted Bundy stalked these people. They stalked the sorority house. Well, unfortunately, you know, some people, just like the girls that fell in love and followed Manson, the Manson girls, they followed him. Manson never killed anybody. You know that, don't you? Manson never killed a single person. Charles Manson didn't. But what he did, he influenced these girls to go out and kill other people, and the boys, and the Sharon Tate murders and the Bianca murders. He basically told them to do it, and they did it. So, but he actually didn't get his hands dirty because he was a coward for one thing, and he was he was insane. He still is insane. But these people are not going to uh, well, good, Maddie. I wish you well in that, what's going on with you. I really do. Um, I think that, yeah, I hope they do. But you know, if it's in federal court, they will not have cameras. If they charge him with state court, they probably will. I wish that they would have uh, cameras in all courtrooms, because I think it holds the court accountable. You know, you think it's weird that the survivors didn't call 911? Yeah, I do, and I don't understand that. Did they know about the murders? Did they see it, or were they? You know, I just think it's weird. I do think it's very weird. But you know, like when Ted Bundy killed those people in the sorority house, they actually uh, he was discovered in the house. He was seen in the house itself. So you know, it's a pretty much cut and dry there. Um, yeah, I wish they were in court. In every courtroom, there were cameras. I think it would you would see a different way of looking at things. But you know, they'll tell a jury, use your common sense. You know, they say don't leave your common sense at the door, because you know. But I don't know. I've testified in court hundreds of times. I've been to federal court, not so much in federal court. I've been to federal court on some cases we did. Most of the time they just pled, because if federal court does not, the federal prosecutors, federal DA, he does not prosecute people unless he's got you. You know, he really has got all the evidence against you. I've had drug cases in federal court. I've testified in state court hundreds of times, if not 1,000 times, and I've testified in city court probably thousands of times. Rob, don't you think Big K is that smart or fast? You know, I think that I think the guy's got some good lawyers, but I think they got him. They've got him on with evidence. I think they've got DNA, but they had the two girls they were gay. He killed both of them, and then he kill the guy too, or was it 3 or 4 when they were, you know, I mean, I'm talking about BK, the guy Brian, what's his name? Yeah, Bundy did it in about, yeah, or less, with a big old piece of wood. Uh You know, Tony wants to talk about the Maui fires, and we may talk about it tonight if he gets on here. There's a lot of suspicion on the Maui fires. I don't know about it all. There's conspiracy. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around about the Maui fires. How did they start? They talk about lasers, and they talk about everything, and I'm just not sure. I haven't seen any evidence that that they were started by anything more than weather, but because I did see a film where these two wires were bumping together, and that's how it did. Well, listen, it's time for me and Tony to get on. So it's going to start at minutes, no matter what I want to do. So we'll see each other next time, and if we can get on it all, I will in a minute, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll see you over there if you decide to come. If not, I'll see you next Thursday. Y'all check out my other channel, the 1 Million Mile Road Trip. We appreciate it. A lot of good videos going on there. Y'all have a good night.